Henry Cavill says he is back at Superman. Henry Cavill confirmed after the post credit scene at Black Adam that he is coming back as Superman for the DCEU, which is fucking phenomenal news. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman for our generation. It's been awesome having him, and I can't wait to see what's next. Hopefully, we'll get to see a Man of Steel soon enough.
I want to say something real quick.
Man of Steel 2, yeah.
If we can go back in the archives and see how many episodes you don't talk about Henry Cavill, I'd like to do that.
I don't talk about Henry Cavill?
Yeah, because you.
It's a lot more than I do.
I don't know.
No,
Disco, do you remember the last time we did an episode where he's not talking about Henry Cavill?
It's been a while. He stopped. He slowed down.
I guarantee you go to last week's episode, he's talking about it. And
because there was news last week.
There was a big stretch where every week it was like had Henry Cavill's John in his mouth.
Just always.
Well, he's a fucking sexy man, bro. Like I gotta say that he's a good looking dude.
No. He's got a nice jaw.
Haven't they also confirmed they're working on Man of Steel 2?
They have, but there's rumors that there was a script already written, and like the producer for that work with Zack Snyder's coming back for it and things like that. But nothing is set in stone. Since Warner Brother Discovery hasn't like confirmed it yet themselves, it's still up in the air. But it's definitely moving in the right direction, so I'm excited for it. Next up, James Gunn and Peter Safran to lead DC Studios as co-CEOs. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I had mentioned there were in talks with someone else to become the head of DC Studios, and the talks fell through. They couldn't come to a deal, and now it looks like these two will be taking over as the DC Studios CEOs and moving in the future, guiding the DCEU to hopefully a better place.
Potentially happening.
I think we did. I think we did talk about James Gunn.
It was like literally like I think it was Peacemaker come out, and we were talking about it. It's just like he did such a good job with Peacemaker. He did such a good job with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And then we said like, what if potentially they were just like, hey, let's just have James Gunn kind of run everything. We're like, oh, they were like, yeah, but it'd be interesting. Months later, here we go.
Yeah.
Can I ask you DC fans a question?
Yeah.
About this? You guys aren't afraid that under his direction he'll just turn DC into Marvel, tone wise?
Well, do you think? Have you seen the Peacemaker?
Yeah, I saw only maybe I think 2 or 3 episodes of Peacemaker, and I watched Suicide Squad.
So do you think Peacemaker has the tone of Marvel?
Or Suicide Squad? Because it definitely doesn't to me.
100%.
It doesn't to us, no.
I don't feel like it at all.
Nah.
What do you call it?
Good.
What do you call it?
Well, first of all, these shows might be a little lighthearted, but they're still super dark. Like nothing like Marvel does.
Okay, but Suicide Squad. I know more about Suicide Squad. There was nothing dark about that.
I mean,
all the slave people
like,
that
literally,
were
first off, Suicide's
like
in the name.
The slave people that had starfishes on their face? That was hilarious.
Dude, yeah, it's supposed to be funny, but still, it's just like everybody's getting murdered because
it's pretty fucking dark. Like the experiments that the guy was doing on them.
Okay, so it's Marvel and blood.
No, the most similar thing that this is to Marvel now is Deadpool. That's the most similar, which isn't really MCU.
But listen, I mean,
Deadpool is also exactly what I just said. Marvel plus blood.
I think. Listen,
it's
I think it's fine if you think that's what he's doing.
It's just. Is it not just an edgier?
Listen. I think it's fine that if this is what you see him doing is taking DC projects, making them in a Marvel style and adding grittiness or blood or whatever, and you think that's all he's
Marvel
doing.
Style, Deadpool style.
Let me just finish.
Sorry.
I think that's completely fine. If that's what you think, I just don't think we agree, and I don't think like you like trying to convince us is gonna happen. Like,
I'm not trying to convince you guys. I know you guys love. Didn't you guys enjoy Zack Snyder's tone overall?
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the. I had my issues with some of the movies, but yes, I did enjoy the tone, and especially the Justice League.
And he's his inspiration is coming from like very specific darker tone
Yeah.
comics that he's pulling from.
Hmm.
And I guess I don't see James Gunn dipping into that as much in the way that
For the
Zack
movies he
Snyder.
directs, sure, I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Okay.
But he's not directing every movie, right?
Well,
He's
That's
the
with
true.
CEO
Yeah.
of the
Suicide Squad, I
studio.
feel like he did a good job because Suicide Squad has always been like, here's a bunch of fuck ups who there's characters that we don't know what to do with them, and let's just throw them in a book and kill them off. And then some of the books are lighthearted, of course, and James Gunn did
Yeah.
nail that.
But I think James
According to the
Gunn
book,
picked the property that
yeah, that was
suits his
suitable.
style
Yeah,
strongly, and he
Okay.
pulled it off well. Now,
yeah,
I don't think just because he did that for that property and for Peacemaker, he's gonna start applying that
yeah,
style as a blanket style for all of
To
DC
the
movies.
okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Um,
I'm very curious where they're going to take tonally. I don't know if Zack Snyder does do Man of Steel 2, I guess it'll be a continuation of his tone.
well,
I
so
would.
as of right now, Zack Snyder he's locked in with Netflix. I forgot what the name of the deal is, but so he can't make movies for DC right now, because
Interesting.
he's locked in with Netflix. There's a
Is
name
it
for the deal that it's like a certain amount of movie deal that he has to do in a certain amount of time. So his time is tied to Netflix right now. Now I don't know if they're gonna wait a little bit longer for him to finish and then jump back on the ship, or they're gonna start moving forward maybe with some guidance from him or whatever. But as of right now, it's not confirmed that Zack Snyder is returning to the DCEU or Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm sure I'm not gonna say I'm sure. Maybe they'll love to have him back when he has the time. Maybe they won't, and they'll just move on without him. Either way, right now he can't make movies with DC because he's tied with the Netflix deal. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. What else were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say like my personal opinions on DC. I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I
Hmm.
wasn't a fan of Zack Snyder's work. Matt Reeves' Batman is like
Yeah,
one of my
amazing. Yeah.
big 10 out of 10s for in a long time with superhero stuff. If it were up to me, I would give, especially because Matt Reeves has HBO shows coming out. I'd give
Hmm.
him the keys and I'd say, look, keep doing a Gotham, keep expanding the universe of your Batman however
Hmm.
you want. And if one day you want to start introducing some other Justice League names, some other connections outside, but they exist within the universe that you created, go ahead. I would love
Well,
an
I think they
expanded
can still
universe
do
in
that
his.
outside of the DCEU, right? Because they can run those two simultaneously. They don't have to they don't have to do what Marvel's doing where every single show, every single
Yeah,
movie, every
I
single
They
agree.
can
thing ties
stay
in
away from
together.
the universe thing.
They can do Elseworld, right? So
Exactly.
the Batman is an Elseworld property. It's on its own. It does its own
Interesting.
thing. They want to expand
Yeah,
that into its own little thing
yeah,
and world and universe. They can 100% do that. Give the keys to Matt Reeves, like you said, and let him go wild. Now with the DCEU, none of what Matt Reeves does have
It affects him. Yeah,
anything to do with the
yeah. And
DCEU,
they've already done
and
that
then
with the
they can
Joker. That's another
exactly,
one
and
that's
then
completely
Joker's
yeah,
another,
separate.
and they're making a sequel to that. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
No,
think
it's
DC
good.
should just do that.
Yeah,
Uh, if they make a strong movie and they want to continue it, or a strong project and they want to continue it, just leave it. You don't have to connect them all together, because then that's when they start messing up,
hmm
and not everything needs to tie in together, right?
I
I
agree
love
with that.
these
I agree
like
with
I
that.
love these like separate storylines that we see, and then maybe we will get a better DCEU under the new management, or maybe they'll scrap it and start over. Who knows? But it seems like they're still gonna try to continue it. They did reshoots for Aquaman. They did reshoots for Black Adam before it got released to add Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
They're doing some reshoots now for the Flash. That's why everything got delayed till next year. So they're trying to still keep what's going on and move it into a new direction. So hopefully it succeeds. Only time will tell. Who knows?